In my videos, I tend to bag on found footage quite a bit. People think I really don't care for the genre, but I actually do when it's done right. It's just a harder thing for people to get right. But today we're going to take a look at a movie that I feel like does do it right, and it's Hell House LLC. And I've never actually watched the sequels. I specifically was holding off on them for the time that I did a timeline video. So this is about time, and we're going to find out whether or not this actually does have a solid timeline, or if that LLC stands for lackluster continuity. We begin back in 2015 with Hell House LLC, which starts off letting us know, Blair Witch style, that we're watching footage from an incident in 2009. And there was a haunted house tour at an abandoned hotel in Abaddon in New York. The specific date is October 8th, 2009, and amateur footage seems to capture some unusual goings-on there, culminating in a stampede, and a newspaper lets us know that 15 people were killed. We're told this in documentary style, and one of the members of the Hell House group, named Sarah, gives the crew the tapes from that night, and the tapes are dated August 23rd to October 8th. They set up shop in the old hotel, and there seems to be tension among the group, and there's a dark, mysterious thing in one of the rooms. When they flash back to the present, she says it took about a week to get the electricity going before they started staying in the hotel, and the date on the footage says September 8th. So we're into September, and the odd things begin with a sleepwalking Sarah, and we then jump to September 18th. We find out that the owner of the hotel, Tully, had hung himself there, and the bad things happened 20 years ago, and Tully was the head of a cult. People disappeared there, and the hotel was closed soon after, and clown stuff happens, and Sarah talks backwards. What does she say?
Sarah, you okay? Yeah, good.
When I got to the front door, the police were arriving.
And things start ramping up with ghostly women, and Paul goes catatonic. We find out that the Hell House group is basically bankrupt, so they have no choice but to continue on with the haunted house, and Halloween night finally arrives. And weirdly, their surveillance system shows the date as May 10th, 2014, so they may want to adjust that. And we see everything start to go wrong. And down in the basement, we see robed figures appear and a panic begin. We go back to the footage from the beginning, and mysterious figures claim our main crew, and in the present, which is said to be 5 years later, in 2014, Sarah tells the documentary crew that they should go to the hotel, which they do, but we find out that back in 2009, a possessed Paul killed Sarah and then himself. Meanwhile, the crew enter the hotel and everything is still the same, and Sarah's there and kills them, which doesn't really explain how the footage got out and into the hands of the remainder of the crew. 3 years later, in 2018, a sequel arrived with Hell House LLC 2, The Abaddon Hotel, which tells us the film was collected from footage over 2 years. And we meet Wendy, whose son has been missing for a year after going to the hotel. He went missing on August 5th, 2016, so we're in the later part of 2017 now, several years after the last film. We find out that Jackson has been texting his mom from the hotel mysteriously, and there's footage of him stuck there as one of the robed figures approaches. There's then footage from all the way back in 1997, and we're then told that it's been 2 years since the release of the first film, which they refer to as a documentary. So, in this universe, that movie came out in 2015, much like ours. So sometime after the events of the ending, the crew's footage was recovered and the film was released 1 year later. Weirdly, they say that the Hell House incident was 7 years ago, which would be 2010, but she's just off, and it's actually 8 years ago. But I guess I should state that this was written and directed by Stephen Cognetti, who also did the first one, but this has none of the feeling of that one. It's revealed that the documentary crew members have been missing since the ending of the last movie, and meanwhile, another film crew is trying to get into the house, and they contact the one remaining surviving crew member from the original film, and they think that there's evidence in the basement in the fridge down there. Meanwhile, there's a few random cases shown of various people that entered the hotel and had spooky encounters, and then on October 8th, they go in with a TV psychic in tow. It then jumps to the 12th, and Jessica is being questioned and can't remember what happened in the house, and the footage in the house shows them reach the basement, and the clowns are still there, and they find the fridge which has the documents in it, and Brock and his guy are attacked. The house then attacks the main crew, and a flashback to earlier tells that Alex wasn't really allowed to use the hotel in the first film in the first place, and it turns out that he actually was at the hotel in April of '09, and the whole scenario was set up. And in the house, the basement wall explodes with the hoodies coming out, and they see the ghost of the girl who died in the basement of the first film, and it turns out that the bald guy from the TV show was never there, but then turns out to be the one who arranged everything and is actually Tully, the hotel's deceased owner. Alex and Andrew's bodies are there, and it's revealed that everything is just a plan to get more souls in the hotel, and the crew is killed. In the interrogation room, it's revealed that Jessica is already dead via this Snapchat face swap thing, and gets the cops to go to the hotel. 1 year later, the trilogy was completed with 2019's Hell House LLC Lake of Fire. It has a text in the beginning saying 9 years have passed, so we're in 2018, and it says it's 1 year after the last film, and the hotel is about to be demolished, but was purchased. It seems that a new event occurred there on October 1st, 2018, and a rich man is having a show there to try to explain what happened. It's a production of Faust. No, not that Faust. The classic one. The rich guy is Win here, and there's a documentary crew, of course, making a behind the scenes about the production. The theater team has been there 3 weeks setting up, and I guess have had no incidents, and we're told the town had previous spooky stuff back in 2003, and that there's still clown stuff going on in the house. They talk about Win surviving a car crash back in 2008 and how he nearly died and has been pretty different afterwards, and the occurrences begin increasing as they get closer to opening night. People from the Hell House team show up in the pictures from the house, and Vanessa sees Jessica from the last film there. Win tries to convince the documentary team to not film opening night and to choose another one, and it seems pretty clear that Win is up to something, as he's intending to give away all of his money before the show. We get flashbacks to the Hell House crew in April of 2009, and Win is there, as well as 2017 with the original morning crew. The show opens, and the idea is that the show takes place all through the house and the audience members walk from scene to scene, but then things start to go wrong. Tully shows up and interrupts the show, and everyone flees. The gateway opens with the hooded figures attacking, and everyone is seemingly killed before Win faces off against Tully against a CGI fire. We're then told the entire audience and staff are okay and found in the field outside of the house, but Win is missing. It's revealed that he actually died in the car crash, and I guess was actually an angel that came down to save everyone, so he can just do all this and restore all these people from the dead, which pretty much just flat out says that there's a force of good, but I guess he couldn't just say who he was from the beginning to stop all this. It was necessary to have Tully appear first. Why not just tell the people that you're an angel if you're trying to keep things mysterious and have the whole notion of faith or whatever? Hey, guess what? Restoring a large group of people from the dead doesn't exactly do that. You're tipping your hand off that there is a higher power that can perform miracles. Why do you need to wait until after the miracle is done to say that? The original Hell House team then is restored to life, but their souls are now trapped in the hotel, I guess, forever. And hold on, is this still a documentary? Who is filming this? Where's this footage from? It appears to still be a handheld camera, like someone is holding it. So stylistically, it still matches. So is this like a ghost camera? Is this in the documentary that was released, like this movie is purporting to be? I do not know. So there you have it. It's 3 movies that actually have, I feel like it's a pretty solid continuity. The continuity really works. They did a pretty good job with weaving in the older footage into the later movies to kind of try in at one whole tied together narrative. And I really loved the first movie. The first movie is probably one of the best found footages movies that I have, that I've seen. I think it really works. I think the scares are fantastic. It's genuinely creepy. I enjoy the characters enough. There's just a lot that I really like about it. And the second and third movie, unfortunately, do not really carry that forward. The second movie keeps the same scares going. Like, there's definitely some good creepy moments and some very effective scare scenes in the second one, but the story's just not that great, and the characters are pretty bad, and the acting is just not nearly as good as it is in the first one. And the third one it's missing all of the scare stuff. Like, there's none of that going on. None of it. There's very, very few creepy moments in the third one. There's like 1 or 2 genuinely decent scenes in there. And yeah, the story is just, it gets a little bit messy, a little bit silly with the whole good versus evil, angel versus demon subplot. It feels a little more ridiculous, but they're all pretty watchable. I mean, the first one I love, and the second and third are still entertaining enough to watch. So yeah, let me know what you thought of these down below in the comments. I want to hear if you like these, if you like the first one as much as I did, and if you were as disappointed by the second and third as I was, let me know that. If you like this video, of course, hit like. If you like the channel, hit subscribe. Please check out my patrons at patreon.com. These guys help keep this channel going, which you can do as well by going to patreon.com/movietimelines. I know I'd certainly appreciate it. And yeah, just keep on watching the videos, and I'll see you very shortly for another great one. Thanks a lot, guys, and bye-bye.